morning.
We are.
We're back. So, women on a mission. How are you guys? And well, how is everyone coming? I think is this our first one since New Year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Happy New
awesome.
Year.
Well, yeah, it's a bit. At 16 days past Happy New Year now, but Happy
Better
New
late
Year.
than never.
But obviously, this is actually going to be a good one for everyone today because it's going to show you that don't feel you're guilty. Don't feel guilty about spending time on yourself. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm really getting back into the swing of things, which is really nice.
Good.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm busy, but really good. So I'll just say, guys, I'm live everywhere today, and I'm live on TikTok. Hello, TikTok, everyone. I'm doing podcast now. So life in general has just been really, really busy, but loving it. So how have you been since New Year, though? Have you got any goals, any resolutions?
No resolutions because I think they're sucky.
Yeah.
Just a bit like that word, but anyway. No resolution. But this year is just going to be about growth and really just nailing down on myself and my own personal growth, really.
I think 2023 is where it's at about focusing on yourself without feeling guilty, and podcast out today, not feeling guilty about spending time on yourself, because I think in the past, this is where we typically as women, maybe men as well, maybe you guys who are watching, let us know, how does this affect you? Because I think the roles in the household maybe differ, the matriarchy, the patriarchy, how does that affect it? About today.
Oh, you're just a little bit sorry, you're a little bit lagged there, Nikki.
Oh, my internet over the last few days, these guys on TikTok been joining, it's been in and out. So maybe time to go and check about my internet. So just sorry guys about my internet today. I'll try my hardest. All right, fine. So we're just going to go and dive right into it today, because I think this is a good one for everyone to sort of listen to, and let me know in the comments, if you feel guilty about spending time on yourself, because I think especially as I don't want to keep moaning and keep going on about it, especially as women, but as women we do feel guilty because of issues, health things. We feel guilty about spending money and time on ourselves.
Time. And there's always that forever to-do list, really, isn't there? It never ends. And trying to slot yourself into that, that time just for you, it's really hard to take yourself back from those everyday jobs to actually go, no, I need to set this time for myself.
It is. It's always about, the one analogy that I like to use for everybody is when you go on a plane. You might have heard this before. It's the oxygen mask. You get told to put your oxygen mask on first, because if you can't help yourself first, then you're not able to help anyone else. This is the same for us. Mental health, your physical health, it's so important. And it's our life. We were born into this world. It's our life. So why are we giving our life away to other people who, maybe doesn't even care?
Yeah. And I think it's really, really important to remember, the saying as well, like you can't pour from an empty cup. So by taking that time for you, there are so many benefits for yourself, but the people that are around you benefit as well.
I know, and especially like if you're a parent and then you're like, I've got to take the kids to their clubs, and then you're maybe so tired, you don't want to go and do anything. Your eating may be really bad because, you're just wanting a really quick fix. So you're not taking that time for self-care there either. But then when you do take time out, you're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. So it really is all about the mindset, of what you have, and not feeling guilty about self-care, because the better you're feeling, the better your mental health is, the better your physical health is, the more you're going to radiate happiness out to everyone else, and people feel that.
I think another thing that I have been guilty of is feeling guilty about taking time for myself and thinking that, you know, my partner or my kids are going to be upset or, you know, think, oh my God, why is she taking time for herself? But they're not realizing that they actually are like, go do what you need to do.
Yeah.
To feel better about yourself, but it's all in my mind that I think that it's going to upset other people or, you know, I've definitely been number one guilty of that. But it's all in my own mind.
It is a very good point because our partners, our friends, our family, they just want us to be happy. They would rather us take an hour or two for ourselves than be nagging or be in a bad mood or be depressed for 12 hours. So that has that knock-on effect for the whole day. And our partners and that love us. They just want us to be happy and they want us to do things. So really the guilt comes from within. This is why we're trying to get everyone today to think about who's actually guilty here. Who is the one that's not?
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
I think we are all guilty of it in one way or another. Man, woman, I don't think it really matters. We're all guilty of just setting aside time for ourselves. And this is why I think a lot of people do let their weight and their health and wellness get past them because you don't stop and think, I need to take this time for myself to work on me.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually one of the most common things that we hear when we're speaking to people. I think you're agreeing when they're maybe asking to come onto the program or what it's involving, and they're like, oh, well, I just don't have time for that. Why don't you don't have time to, you know, get healthy, to like reverse your polycystic ovaries? You don't have time to lose weight. You don't have time to improve your mental health. You know, as opposed to what? To sitting on the sofa feeling really tired, watching TV or scrolling mindlessly through social media. You know,
and unfortunately, there will come a time where you do that for so long that you then sit back and regret all the time. You know, I know there was a couple of women in the Australian huddle that we held the other day that, you know, they mentioned the time that they wasted not focusing on themselves and not taking that time for themselves and wishing that they could turn back the years to go back to that time and take that time for them. Out of being a wife, a partner, a mother, or, you know, work-related stuff as well. And I think that's the number one thing that drives me to make sure I look after myself. I don't want to sit back and have regret.
No, I mean, but you can't change the past. That's the thing about that. You can kick yourself. You can say, I wish I started sooner. Because the women that do come into the program, they're like, oh, why didn't I just start sooner? It's that choosing your hard sort of scenario, but once you realize you're just changing your lifestyle and it does become easy, you do kick yourself, but there's no point living in the past. You're doing this now. But yeah, that is a really
using that as that driving motivator as well to make sure you don't just fall back into those old habits again.
Exactly. I mean, I was 35 when I finally started to change. 30, and I'm going to swear, guys, sorry, 30 fucking 5. I mean, I get so angry and annoyed at that fact. And it's like, I wasted so much time being overweight and depressed and hating myself when all it took was just that allowing myself to spend that time and money and energy on myself to be happy. We only get one life. I know we hear this all the time. We only get one life. Why? It's your body, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with all that. I think it's very important. Very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel guilty even now about spending time on yourself, or have you overcome this?
I've overcome it to an extent. I think there's still always times where, you know, I kind of set in stone that, okay, this is the time that I'm going to have to myself. And sometimes life does get in the way and things are chaotic and crazy, especially with young kids. Things happen. And then you do kind of feel like, oh, I really still want to take that time for me. But things are chaotic and I better just make sure I'm here and I'm doing mum duties. So I think that guilt does kick in a little bit, not as often as what it used to. That's only like on the odd occasion when things are chaotic. But I know for me, the biggest thing is always, I have to remember, is how I feel afterwards and the benefit that, you know, my family has from me making time for myself. So, you know, they benefit from a happy mum. They benefit from someone that, you know, wanting, you know, energy and wanting to do things, rather than someone that just wants to lounge around and, you know, I couldn't be bothered doing that, and, you know, the negative downward spiral and all those things that come with it. I think it's definitely, as a mum, it's definitely really important to take that time for you so you can be a better mum, a better wife, a better partner, a better friend.
Yes, exactly. But there's also another side to this coin that's sort of just coming, it's not coming to me just now, but I do want to put it out there. It's, you feel guilty about spending time on yourself. But as the opposite side to that is, do you actually want it? I know this is a hard question for everybody. There's so many people out there who are overweight. They allow their polycystic ovaries to take over, or you know, they just don't know what to do. But how much do you want it? It's all good and well saying, I want to lose weight or I can't lose weight. Are you taking action? You know, that's the other side. But how much do you want it? Just saying.
It's all fine, well and good to say these things, but the action is what puts things into place and actually gets the ball rolling, doesn't it?
It does. It does. So you need to think, do I want this? If you do, then you go at it, no matter what you need to do within safe limits, obviously, and naturally, like with nutrition, your lifestyle, you go after that. And within a year, I guarantee you, your life is going to be so different. You're going after all your dreams. You've got the dreams that you want now, but now your dreams have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're able to get them because you know you can do it.
Yeah. And you might even be like me, that my partner actually, he's not a part of the program. I was. And he actually thanks the fact that I went through the program because I'm a better partner.
Yes.
And the impact that it's had for our life is just, it's enormous. Like it's such a big impact, not just for me, but everyone.
That's the good thing about the program. It's not just about losing weight. It is about changing your life, your mindset, your lifestyle, but knowing that you are allowed to spend time on yourself. This is what we're trying to hit home today. You will feel guilty in the beginning. You will feel like you shouldn't be going to the gym, or you shouldn't be going for a massage even, or that you shouldn't be spending money on yourself. But why, you know, you would spend 50 quid for a takeout in a week, and that is just making you feel shit. But you don't feel guilty about spending money on shitty food. But why would you feel guilty on making yourself live longer? You know, helping your menstrual cycle, helping yourself get pregnant. Why would you feel guilty about that? It's a proper mindset. So we've got some tips here, or I've got some tips here just to make you think about, you know, don't feel guilty and how to sort of get around that, because we're not expecting you just to go from 0 to 100 straight away. This has to come in small increments. So the first one is about the importance of self-care. What do you do for self-care, Erin?
I love to go and get my hair done or get a facial. Or I love just a relaxing bath or just some quiet time. There's so many different things that, you know, I think self-care is such a big range of stuff. It's not just go and spend a heap of money on yourself. There's so many things that you can do to just have that bit of quiet time to you and just to calm your mind, I guess, you know. For me, I'm so busy all the time with the kids and everything. My mind's constantly running, and it's really nice just to stop for a minute. And not have to think about anything. And like you said, not feel guilty about stopping for a minute.
It is, and it's about that as well. But it's over the other side of it. If you're normally like a really lonely person, like I know a lot of women are, they're actually lonely as well because they feel like they don't want to go socializing as well because they're hating their body. So again, where does it start? You have to start looking after yourself for that. But what I'm meaning by that is if you're feeling lonely, then reaching out to people and spending time with people as well is really, really important for self-care. That's just the opposing side. I get both sides of it.
Yeah. And I think not just any people as well, like-minded people that,
yes.
Build you up, not bring you down.
Yes. Being around people that are not toxic, or the ones that when you start to lose weight, they'll be like, oh, what you doing? The only reason they're being like that is because they're not, jealous is a strong word, but they're just not liking the change in you because they're unable to do it themselves and you're able to.
Confronting.
Doing it. It is confronting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But self-care is so important, and so is meditation. Like I try and help my polycystic ovary ladies, stress reduction is a part of self-care. It really, really is. Cortisol causes so much problems. So for everyone, self-care, cortisol reduction and meditation is really, really good. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go into point number 2 because I've got 5 little tips for you today. And if you want to pop in the comments, I can't actually see comments today because I've had to split my screen for this because I'm live over TikTok today as well as everywhere else. So yeah. So is there any comments coming in so far or anything?
There's no tips at the moment, but I would love for anyone to pop down some tips that you guys might have, how you kind of take that guilt away from spending time for yourself. If there's any more tips that any of you have, it'd be nice to hear.
Definitely. All right. So number 2 I've got here, and it's a big one because we're actually bad for this. So number 2 is give yourself permission to focus on yourself. So when we're like, we feel guilty about doing that. But if we are giving ourselves permission, then our brain sort of accept it a little bit more. We're like, or write it down, like, I will do this, or it is okay.
Book it in like you would an appointment. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to use those exact words, but yeah, so give yourself permission. Definitely.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else to say about that one before I move on? Because I know that.
I think that one's pretty straightforward, allowing yourself to, that's a hard one to kind of overcome, I guess, if you are still kind of stuck in that feeling guilty. That is probably one of the harder ones to overcome, is giving yourself permission.
Yeah.
And maybe some people, like, not everyone has super supportive family and friends around them. There are always going to be people that are going to say, oh, well, why are you doing that? Or do you really have to do that right now? And, there are going to be people that aren't always going to support you. But to take that time and, like you said, give yourself permission to go, yeah, I am going to do this. This is important to me to be a better person.
Exactly. And it's giving yourself the autonomy, the authority. You own your own person. You are your individual person. So that is why you need to give yourself permission and don't allow anyone else to take that away from you. It's so important. All right. So number 3 that we've got here is remind yourself that the people that you love and care about love you too. And this sort of goes back to what you were saying, Ez, in the beginning there. So they love you too. They want the best for you. So just remind yourself of that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think I've covered a little bit of that already.
Yeah. So that it's self-explanatory, that one. But you don't want to get yourself burnt out. Your people that you love don't want you to be getting burnt out as well. They want the happiest version of you. And if you said to them, I just want to go and spend a little bit of maybe time or some money on myself, I can't imagine them saying no. It's all in our own heads. We are our own biggest saboteurs for that. Yeah.
Agree.
All right, number 4, let's get through these, and then just jump in, guys. Remember, if you want me to talk about anything, but sorry for TikTok, I can't directly talk to you at the moment, but I'll directly talk to you once I'm finished. All right, so number 4 is learn how to say no to demands on your time. This is a big one. The amount of ladies that have come into the program, the Better Body Academy, that have said that they now actually say no to people when they've never said no before because it's scary. People pleasing. It's scary. Yeah. So they
But
drain
people
your time.
pleasing, you know, for me has always been do this because it's an expectation. It's not do this because I want to do that. And then you end up feeling burnt out. You feel exhausted. You know, the next day you wake up and you think, oh my goodness, why did I go to that? Now I feel 10 times worse than what I did in the first place.
Yeah.
Just to keep somebody else happy that probably really didn't care whether you were there or not anyway.
Exactly. But then it comes that expectation that you're always just going to say yes. So they'll ask you, but then they'll get so used to not giving you anything in return because you're just saying yes. The first time you say no, they might just be a bit like, well, what's happening?
Where did that come from?
Yeah, they might be pissed off. They might, be annoyed at you. But you know what, guys? Who actually cares? They'll go over it. It's just because they're not used to you doing that. But it's your life, remember. It's empowering saying no. You're not being a bitch. You're not being rude. You're not, doing anything wrong. You're just saying, I'm sorry, I can't, do that at the moment because I have something else on, or you don't want to do it. It's as simple as. So boundaries are so important for like your autonomy and your self-care and not feeling guilty. So boundaries, really important.
And that builds self-confidence as well, confidence within yourself that you're not going to just be signing up or agreeing to things that just don't fit, like especially for a weight loss journey, you could go out for dinner or drinks with friends and family and they could be like, oh, here, have this, this and this, like, oh, why are you ordering that? Or, and then you give in to sort of like that peer pressure because you don't want to be one that stands out, and that's just so exhausting, so then when you learn to say no, I'm going to do it this way, you feel that empowerment and you build confidence within yourself.
But in saying no, people will actually build respect for you, and then therefore you'll have more respect for yourself because you're able to say no. You can say yes sometimes, but saying no, especially to events that you don't want to go to, or ones that you know are going to be taking away from the time that you're using to better yourself or your family time or your downtime, whatever, boundaries are so important. And they say respect.
And time is really precious as well, isn't it? Like we always, I hear so many people say, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. But, where are you spending your time? Are you spending it people pleasing, or are you spending it working on yourself and being 100% present with your family and your friends that you actually really want to be around, or are you wasting it people pleasing?
Exactly. Like, I know it's a cliche. We say all the time. It's like I've said it before in this live. We only have one life. Or well, we don't know. We have one more, but we only have this one life that we remember at the moment. So why are we wasting it? Why? I mean, I wasted mine for 35 effing years, and I kick myself for it. And if I knew then what I know now, so don't waste your life. Don't feel guilty for saying no to people. Don't feel guilty for making yourself look good. Don't feel guilty for spending money on helping your hormones because you want to get pregnant. I don't get the logic in that. I really, I don't, well, I went through it, so obviously I do, but now I don't get that logic.
I think that's hard to overcome too. I was like that with my kids. I'd go and spend hundreds of dollars on my kids on junk toys that would get thrown out in like a week's time. But then I was worried about, going and spending $20 on myself for a face mask or, 20 minutes to myself.
I know. I mean,
it's so crazy to think about it. Yeah.
It is. Or, I mean, ladies, they love to buy, I don't like handbags and shoes and things, but some ladies do, but they'll buy them, wear them once and put them into the back of the cupboard and then they'll never use them again. When that money for those shoes could have been spent on helping reduce your belly fat. And that's the belly fat that you look at about 10 times in a day in the mirror and say, I fucking hate you. That is, I mean, what's the logic?
Yeah, you're trying to fill your life with things rather than actually fixing the internal problems and just masking it with things, I guess.
Yeah. So really, the bottom line of this live today is the only person standing in your way is you. Yeah. Not as in ourselves, not not Ez. Ez is doing brilliant. But yeah, so the only person standing in your way for you is you, everyone here. So think about that internally. Do you want to change? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to be happy? If the answer is yes, then do it. Go after
Make
it.
action.
Make action. Yeah, do
one foot in front of the other. And you know, when you sit back, and for me personally, over the past 12 months, there's been so much growth and making myself a priority. Like I previously said, it has a benefit on my family, but not only that, it's my career as well. You know, my career's opened up so many doors that, you know, I wouldn't have previously been open to any of that if I hadn't worked on myself and taken that time for myself. And in the beginning, I thought it was just about weight loss, but it's not. It's about the mindset behind it. And this is why we talk about lifestyle changing as well inside the academy, because it's not just let's lose some weight and then that's it. It's let's reframe the way we previously thought about weight loss. And let's not worry about the weight itself. Let's change the way we actually live to live happier.
Exactly. And
then the weight is just a really good side effect of that.
Yeah. It really is. People join the program to lose weight, like I said before, but then after a while they realize that, oh, this isn't really just a weight loss program. This is it's life changing.
Yeah. And how many times have you heard so many of the women that have come through the academy that say, oh my goodness, I thought weight loss was the secret to my happiness, but the missing piece of the puzzle was the mindset.
Yes. It's all up here, guys. If you've not got it going on upstairs, as in like believing in yourself or just doing your quick, maybe a 6-week diet, all you're doing there is restrictive eating and then going back and putting on more weight. You're not changing your lifestyle. You're doing it as short-term fixes that's just making you yo-yo and doing it worse. So having this really good, happy lifestyle, but it affects your mental health as well. Who doesn't want really good mental health, especially in this current climate?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's super important and it's very overlooked, isn't it? Self-care, self-love, self-gratitude, you know, understanding that you are enough to spend time on yourself.
Exactly. So I kind of feel like I've gone off in a wee bit of a rant this morning, but you know what? I feel passionate about this and you do too. And it's just about hitting home that it's okay to spend time and money on yourself. It's okay. You have permission. Give yourself permission. Yeah. So
and the rest of the people in your life that love you and care about you, they will thank you for that.
Yeah.
At one point or another, they will.
I know, but like it's a trickle effect as well. They'll be happy because you'll be turning into one sexy mother trucker. You'll be, you know, especially or if you're trying to maybe have a baby, you know, you're doing everything that you can possible. Or if, you know, you've got lots of, say, polycystic ovary symptoms, you're doing everything you can to reduce your acne and your hair. It's rather than just sitting down and allowing it to consume you. You want to beat this. You can beat it. We're all human. We're overcomers. We can beat this.
Yeah. And it's just taking action. That's all it is. That one step of action. Yeah.
Taking action. Definitely. So those were our tips today, guys. If you want to add in anything after the podcast here, just #replay. You can possibly put a question down in there and we can answer you later on today. But yeah, and we'll be back next week as it is. We'll come back next week and do the Women on a Mission.
Yeah. Why not?
It's
nice to be back.
Yeah, because Ez was looking at wedding venues this week. So yeah, that was exciting. That's why we postponed it, because obviously we had to, because she has to get her wedding venue sorted and it looked beautiful, didn't it?
I'm so excited. So excited.
But just to point out for those who don't know, Ez didn't want to get married. Well, you did, but you didn't because you didn't like how you looked. But now you love yourself.
Yeah. I think that might be a really good thing to talk about, actually, because there's a lot of different points to that. Yeah, I definitely I put off for so long. It was my partner that was like, let's get married, let's get married, let's get married. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And that internal feeling that I had was like, I cannot get married and have a whole bunch of people look at me like I am. This is just not going to happen. But I'd tried everything, you know. But yeah, I think that's definitely a good topic that we could talk about. You know, putting off you know, events or, you know, anything in life because of that internal feeling.
And just think about your wedding photos. When you get married, what's the one thing that will live forever? Your wedding photos. So you want to look and feel your best on your wedding day. You absolutely do. Yeah. So that's
and
one
I'm
thing.
Just, you know, I'm very lucky that I did find the academy when I did, because, you know, I wouldn't be in this position and feeling all these lovey feelings and being like, oh my God, I get to finally get married and, you know, spend the rest of my life. Yeah, you know, and that's something that you can't take away from, you know, that's and really, really good internal feeling.
Good. So look at the knock-on effect that putting yourself first for that time to feel better, look better, has had. You're now getting married because you want to. Yeah. Oh, amazing. So, all right, guys, that'll be us, because as I say, us chatting away, we could probably chat for ages and ages and ages. It's me and Ez, you know. We'll be back next week for more Women on a Mission, helping you love yourself, basically, and whatever problems that you may have. So we're going to cut this one out, and we will speak to you next week. Have an awesome day.